It's been a pretty surprising and eye-opening 9 months, I'm not going to lie. Hey, so in today's video, I wanted to give you a completely honest, unbiased review of my first 9 months at eXp Realty. I want to break down what's actually happened to me, some of the things you want to be aware of, and some of the questions that you probably have about this brokerage. And I just want to dive right in. So the first topic that a lot of people not talk about or know about is the fact that eXp Realty is a technology first based brokerage. So it's a cloud-based brokerage. Now, on the surface, this seems like a bit of a bizarre concept because it's almost like you're playing a video game. The reality is it's actually fantastic once you get used to it, purely based on the fact that support is instant. You can get to your brokers instantly. There's over 600 full-time staff there. They're all paid for to help you in all those specific areas. So when I've had issues, I literally log into eXp World, jump to, say, the accounting section, grab a little ticket and wait in line, and then I go and speak to someone in accounts, wherever they are in the world, and get my problem resolved in a fraction of the time of being a traditional brick and mortar brokerage. It also brings me to things like the technology you get. So for example, you get KV call, which can be $6,000 and upwards per year if you were to buy it. And it's a fantastic platform. It does all your websites, your CRM, it can do everything you want. If you can obviously go to a third party platform, but KV call, a lot of people come for that, and it genuinely is a fantastic tool to use and to put into your arsenal. So next part about eXp Realty is actually the stock awards program. So if you look, for example, at the stock in 2015, it was sub $1, and you look at what it is today, that's a pretty substantial increase. Now, we're traded on the NASDAQ as a publicly traded company. Now, the way you can get stock is by just selling homes like you're already doing. You literally just get given a stock award bonus for every home you sell, which is awesome. And also, if you bring people into your team, you also get little stock awards when they sell a home also. There's also incentives like the Icon program where you get all your cap back in stock that vests over a 3-year period that you can then pull out also. So you can literally basically pay 0 to eXp if you Icon. And there is also a program where you can actually buy the stock at a discount. These are all things that I partake in. This is an awesome part of the brokerage.
We just found a beautiful home to buy, and I'm so excited. I went back to my stock that I had just done the 5%, and I wanted to add to my down payment. And I pulled out some of my stock and was able to put an additional $550,000 down on my house.
This is actually a big reason that a lot of people come to eXp, because for doing exactly the same amount of production they would do at any other brokerage, they end up getting paid more purely because of the way the stock has vests over time and does seem to be gradually increasing. Obviously, I can't make any predictions as it's a publicly traded company, but you just look historically at the data from when the company started and to where it is now, and you can see a trend for yourself. One of the big things that people discuss when it comes to eXp is actually the branding of the brokerage itself. Now, I'm not a huge lover, I will be completely honest, but the reality is when you are a producing agent, producing team, you will have your own branding. The branding of the brokerage really doesn't matter. If you think people are going to do business with you because of the brokerage you're at, I hate to say it, but you are sorely mistaken. So the reality is the branding of eXp as a brokerage is actually completely irrelevant. You go out and you get your own awesome branding done for yourself and your team, and you just stick eXp on it and you're good to go. It really does not matter, and it will not hinder your ability to produce, whether you are in a normal market or a luxury market. So one of the amazing things about eXp is actually tying into the fact that it is a cloud-based brokerage is the broker support. So there is brokers assigned in your area, and one of the things is these are actually salaried positions, so they get paid the same amount to help everybody. So whether you're a new agent or a seasoned agent, you can go and get instant broker support inside of the eXp world, and this is just super helpful to get quick questions answered about local area specific stuff. Again, we use it for our local area, which is Boca in Florida. And this is just an additional bonus that you have by being a cloud-based brokerage over a traditional brokerage. You're not like waiting for your broker. Now, one of the things that we'll hear is like, hey, I want to go see my broker in person. A lot of the times when people say that, they don't actually tend to see their broker in person. They tend to pick up the phone and ask questions, which is essentially exactly what you can do at eXp, which is why, again, I think this is a fantastic solution, because when we're out selling homes, want to have a high producing team, want to hit big goals, we don't have time to be sitting around offices chin wagging, which actually brings me into my next point, which is to do with the fact that everyone seems to be getting hung up on the fact that eXp doesn't have offices. Well, this ties into the fact that, one of the things I'm going to discuss later, which is the revenue sharing program. But first and foremost, the reason they don't have offices is so they can give more money back to their agents. One of the other things is that local teams have offices. So we use another team's office in Boca, who's part of eXp, and they pay for the office space. There is teams all over the US who have spaces that can be used by other agents. Just contact them. This really isn't a big issue. And again, the other thing is, let's be honest, if you are a high producing agent, you are going out and you are crushing out deals, you're not going to be sat around in the office. It's just not going to be the case. So I know the office seems to be a big thing for a bunch of people, but the reality is with eXp, the camaraderie and the connections with other people all over the country gives you far more than you would ever get from a brick and mortar location, in my opinion. Another thing that I think is widely glossed over with eXp, and it is genuinely one of the greatest parts of the brokerage, is actually the infrastructure and training that is put in place. So just for perspective, there's over 50 hours a week of live training inside of eXp World on basically every topic you can imagine. And not only is it 50 hours, it's 50 hours of training from people that are actually doing the stuff right now. This isn't outdated training from a broker who did it 10 years ago. It's like, yeah, this worked for me. This is modern strategies, modern techniques. These are all the things that you want to learn about from people who are actually doing it. And they are seasoned, very, very high producing agents, which is fantastic, because ultimately those are the people you want to learn from. You don't want to learn from some outdated, antiquated techniques that might have worked 10, 15 years ago. This world is evolving rapidly. And I think that is something that people miss with eXp. It's also people like Grant Cardone. All his sales training is inside eXp, which is huge. And also when it comes to training, depending on the sponsor you align yourselves with, a lot of sponsors like we do also have and provide extensive training on their areas of expertise. So for example, with us, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, advertising to grow your brand on those platforms, that is our specialty, and we provide that to anybody who joins our organization. I now want to address the elephant in the room, which is the recruiting side of eXp. Now, there is so much misinformation out there on the fact of like eXp just recruits people, and people don't actually understand how the revenue share and the recruiting system works. So let me just cut straight to the chase. You can recruit 1,000 people, and if none of them ever sell a home, you'll get paid zero for that. eXp is a meritocracy. So essentially, anyone that you bring in, you have to help them produce and hit numbers. And only when they are producing and selling homes do you get paid a portion of what they would pay eXp in the cap. The agent doesn't pay anything to you personally. The actual revenue share payout comes from the money eXp takes, okay? There's huge misconception. Also, over 90% of agents at eXp do almost zero recruiting. Literally almost zero. A mass majority of people at eXp who do recruit are recruiting for their own local teams. So these are people who are wanting to grow their production, grow a huge team, and they're recruiting for that like any normal team would. Now, of course, there is a certain number of people inside of eXp that just do the recruiting. And sadly, there is people that have come to the brokerage and given it a bad name and have done a very poor job of trying to recruit people by just spamming people like that. I think that's way on the outward trend. And ultimately, people have realized that to come to this brokerage and succeed, you need to recruit people and help them sell. Just the act of recruiting itself doesn't actually benefit anybody. Now, this also ties me into my next point, which is actually about alignment and sponsorship. I think I've had such a great experience at eXp because of who I chose to align myself with. I chose a big thinker, a big dreamer like myself who wants to go out there, crush a lot of deals, help a lot of people. And just for context, the person who brought me in did over 1,300 deals last year. So those are the types of people that I want to surround myself with, people who are just out there crushing it, he is helping hundreds of other agents succeed. Now I'm like, that is the type of person I want. And I ultimately think that is a big reason for my enjoyment and success within this organization is the who I chose to align myself with. It's the 7 levels above that is an important aspect of joining this brokerage. People talk about the 7 levels below when it comes to the revenue share. But in reality, when you are coming on, especially if you are focusing on the production side of things, you need to look at the 7 levels above and what they have to offer you. And for me, I got all the help, training and support I needed and the alignment I personally wanted to make me succeed in the domain that I personally chose. So this was my completely honest 9-month review. I've ultimately had a fantastic time here. I really have enjoyed my time here. I will continue to remain at eXp for sure. The opportunity here is so enormous. It is crazy. And we're just getting started. If you look at the growth of eXp over the last few years, it is absolutely mental. It's a complete hockey stick, and that's for a good reason. A lot of people are coming, they are seeing the opportunity to change their lives. There has been a lot of stories out there about eXp changing people's lives, whether it's through the stock side, the revenue share side, whether they've bought additional homes, kept roof over their heads after accidents, all this crazy stuff. And it's an amazing brokerage that has facilitated personal and business growth for literally thousands of agents worldwide now. If you're interested in learning more about the specifics of eXp for yourself, there is a video I've done right here which goes into the nuance, explains the details of eXp, the cap, the buybacks, the stock awards, the revenue share, the technology with the brokerage. It's a longer video which will give you a step-by-step rundown of the brokerage itself. So go ahead and check that out. And also, if you are interested in learning more about our organization specifically, the link for that is in the description below. And I will see you in the next one.